What if the way most people try to move on is quietly misleading? Many believe distance is the answer. They call it no contact. They believe silence alone will change everything. But silence, by itself, changes very little. Absence is not power if the person who disappeared remains the same. You can stop sending messages. You can stop checking their profile. You can vanish from their world. And yet, if they still live in your thoughts, the distance is only physical. True distance begins inside. Because the real purpose of space is not punishment. It is transformation. Most people misunderstand this moment. They believe distance is a strategy to make someone miss them. But the deeper truth is quieter. Distance is a mirror. It reveals who you are when no one is watching. When validation disappears. When the familiar voice is gone. Some people wait in that silence. They replay memories. They analyze the past. They search for signs. But growth rarely happens in waiting. It happens in becoming. Real change begins when the focus shifts away from the past and toward the self. When energy once spent chasing is returned to creation. To discipline. To building a life that does not revolve around a single person. And something interesting happens when that shift occurs. The past loses its gravity. Because regret is rarely created by distance alone. It is created by contrast. When someone leaves, they often believe they can find something better. They believe what they left behind will remain the same. But life rarely works that way. Time changes those who use it well. Pain can become discipline. Loneliness can become clarity. Silence can become strength. And when someone grows beyond the version that once depended on approval, something subtle changes in the air. They become difficult to reach. Not because they are hiding. But because their world has expanded. People are naturally drawn to what feels rare. And what is rare is not someone who waits. What is rare is someone who walks away, and builds something greater. This is why true growth is never about proving anything to the past. It is about outgrowing it. When identity shifts, everything else follows. The person who once feared losing someone becomes someone who values themselves. The person who once waited becomes someone who creates. And the most powerful part of this transformation is quiet. Because it no longer depends on whether someone regrets their choice. By the time that question appears, it no longer matters. The life being built has already moved forward. There is a strange peace in that realization. When attention returns to purpose, health, knowledge, and personal evolution, relationships begin to take their proper place in life. Not as the center, but as a part. And something else becomes clear. People rarely regret losing someone who waits in the background. They regret losing someone who grows beyond their reach. But the deepest truth is this: real growth is not about making anyone regret leaving. It is about reaching a place where their regret becomes irrelevant. Where your life is no longer measured by who stayed or who left, but by who you became. And once that moment arrives, you realize something that was always true. The prize was never someone else's attention. It was the life you were meant to build all along.